Let's transition to what you're up to now. Where can esteemed audience get in touch with you to receive your editorial services, and what kind of services are you offering now?
So you can find me in a variety of different places. My website is laurensmulskiliterary.com. I apologize. My last name is very hard to spell. It's Smulski. laurensmulskiliterary.com. That's my website. You can also find me on Twitter at LaurenES. You can find me on Facebook, Lauren Smulski Literary as well. And of course, I'm also on Readsy as well. That's where I contact a lot of freelance clients is through Readsy. So I'm on there as Lauren Smulski, of course. So that's all the places that you can find me. In terms of the different services I offer, I offer the entire breadth of editorial services that you would find normally from an editor. So everything from manuscript assessments to developmental edits, line editing, and then of course the more nuanced copy editing and proofreading, which is of course, copy editing is correcting all those like spelling, grammar, punctuation issues, checking for consistency throughout the manuscript, making sure that you're not jumping ahead like 6 months or whatever accidentally, or that like, so-and-so is still wearing his blue coat instead of a red coat 20 pages later. Things like that. And, proofreading, which is kind of like that last, last defense before the book goes out there, which is, catching those last few typos, making sure that the spelling is all according to Merriam-Webster, everything's edited according to the Chicago Manual of Style, so on and so forth. It's just, those last few nitpicky errors that might have just made it through like 6 rounds of editing because they're always there. I have so much respect for those errors because they just get glossed over like 6 times. Anyway, and that's that. So the copy editing and proofreading services are typically a little bit more useful for authors who are planning to self-publish. I would not necessarily recommend anyone who's looking for a traditional publishing path to pay for copy editing or proofreading services but to a freelancer, just because you're going to get that done in-house. Your publisher is going to do that for you, and you're not going to have to pay for it. So that's not something that you're spending your money on. If you're looking to go the path of traditional publishing and you want to get the eye of a freelancer on your work ahead of time, a manuscript assessment and a developmental edit are probably the things that you want to focus your budget on. In addition to those like traditional editing services, I also offer, like query letter reviews, query packaging, which is essentially taking a look at your query letter and also the first 50 pages of your manuscript and giving those a really intensive, thorough edit. So prepping stuff for queries is something I can do.
Can I pay you to pick out a list of people for me to query?
I mean, sort of, I guess. I do know a lot of people in the industry, but honestly, I think that authors are probably better off doing their own research in that respect. There's an amazing resource out there called manuscriptwishlist.com, which was created by the lovely Jessica Sinsheimer. And she and a couple of other colleagues created this website, manuscriptwishlist.com, a few years back, that has a very extremely comprehensive listing of a bunch of different agents in the industry, as well as editors. It's a great resource both for aspiring authors who are looking for agents, because they can find, they can search by genre and like what different agents are, representing and what they're interested in bringing onto their list. And then agents in turn use the website in order to find editors that are compatible with the projects that they're trying to submit to publishers. So that's a really great resource that I think every aspiring author should tap into, because it's a free service. You can go in there and do your own research. And it's good to show agents that you've done that research, that you have picked them for a particular reason, that you're not just, sending them your work and saying, dear sir or miss, like dear, to whom it may concern and all of that. Like, no, they've done some research on you and they say like, dear specific person's name, I picked you to submit to because I saw that you were at this conference or because you edited this book and I feel like mine would sit on the shelf nicely with that. Like that you've done your research on this particular agent, because those are the kinds of things that are going to stand out in a query letter. They're going to say, oh, this person actually knows who I am. They care about what I've done. And, they've taken the time. So maybe they're a little bit more worthy of consideration, I guess, So that's something that's really important to do.
Let them know, obviously, that you heard their interview on the Middle Grade Ninja podcast. That's a movement I'm trying to start. I want more agents opening up the emails to say, "Oh yeah, I saw you on Middle Grade Ninja, and I knew that you were the perfect editor for me." So you'll do that, and then so you'll revise the whole query till where it's tip top, can't miss.
Yep.
Guaranteed success.
Yep, and I'm also, as kind of part and parcel with that, I also offer consultations about, like identifying market comps and things, that you can actually comp your book to, giving, some advice about like whether I think the manuscript is marketable and saleable, if it's hooky enough. For self-published authors, like a service that I'm offering too is, again, consultations on like, what comps to use. I also help with copywriting. And actually writing flap copy or revising flap copy if it's got something existing already. And, just consultation on like the state of the market. I'm happy to have conversations like that with authors and talk about, like any, I guess, publishing related questions they might have. I can do that, looking over author websites and seeing if there's, anything missing, based on my experience and what our marketers in-house would say that the author websites should have, or, like great websites that I've seen out there from, very successful authors who have big followings and fan bases. So those kinds of like more specialized, like kind of per diem consultation services. I offer, Americanization of books that were previously published in the UK or Australia to put them into more of the US market, make them more saleable over here.